Welcome back to Pubcast, the pod where mates get together for a chat over a couple of beers to discuss everything from the latest annoyances in life to solving world peace.
Might be a bit of an arse feel, but we can most certainly try our best.
We'll try.
We're looking to create a fun and informative pod with the hope of making you feel as if you've just walked into the pub and joined us for a chat. Whether that be for a moan about your crappy day, Phil's rants, or when I just need to emotionally offload.
Are we going to do that every day?
Pack it in, mate.
At times it will just be us. I'm Phil,
I'm Mark.
but from time to time we'll be joined by friends, fellow regulars and sometimes even strangers for interesting and illuminating conversations, some of which might be useful.
To someone we owe.
We hope. So let's order up some drinks and get on with this week's episode. Whose round is it, mate?
Definitely yours, Phil.
A quick word of caution. This podcast may contain strong language and topics that some people may find upsetting or offensive, and may not be suitable for young people. Please remember the management reserve the right to refuse entry.
Well, good afternoon to you, Phil, on this very sunny afternoon, warm, really warm day.
Good evening, Mr. Mark.
How are you?
Bloody marvellous.
Excellent, bingo.
Yeah.
Got it out the way. Perfect.
Yeah. I mean, not quite bloody marvellous.
Babe, what's up?
Well, the last tennis session has somewhat injured me.
You're suffering worse than I am, for sure.
Wow.
Well,
Never heard that before.
saying that though,
You've actually acknowledged someone having something greater than yourself.
it's called growth, my friend.
Well,
And
I think we should all celebrate it. Let's take a moment here,
thanks, Phil.
recognise it, appreciate it.
Well, I'm going to start this week's pod actually with a safety advice notice.
Oh,
Got in the van this morning to go to work,
okay.
and I noticed a crack on my windscreen.
Oh no.
And it's in a very peculiar place, right?
Okay.
So, driving the van, big windscreen. Obviously, it's a van, so I don't have a rear view mirror, but there's a clip for a rear view mirror there, right? Just underneath that clip is this proper like crack, like hole, and then obviously it's spider legs off of that hole.
Right.
And I was like, oh, it must be like a bird with a stone in its mouth or something like that has dropped a stone and it's hit the windscreen and just...
I guess that's a plausible explanation.
That's what I thought, right? So I was like, okay, I'll just live with that, fine. Driven to site, done a day's work, and then I had to just hit the mic.
Well,
Cool. That's nice and
yeah,
smooth.
yeah.
Good. And then in the afternoon, I've got a boiler installed tomorrow, so I went and picked up the boiler and the flue and all this lot. And then I suddenly looked down at the floor, and there's all this like sort of lime green plastic all over the place, and there's loads of shards. And I was just like, what the fuck is all this? And then I was just like, why is there loads of orange splatters on the windscreen as well? Like loads of little dots. And then I put two and two together.
Did you make 4?
It's me. I'm dyslexic, so that's, maths is not my strong point.
Dyslexic, isn't it?
But dyspraxia, whatever. I was like, fucking hell, a lighter that I'd had on the dashboard had exploded, taken out one of my vape capsule things, that had exploded as well, and literally just decorated the van, and then obviously smashed the windscreen as well. So, safety advice, warning, don't leave lighters on dashboards of cars or vans in this weather. They will explode. And cost you 80 quid in excess to get your windscreen replaced.
Yeah. I mean, like a flammable
You're welcome.
liquid, an explosive. You know that thing they say about having safety labels on bleach and how if we didn't,
Yeah, right.
we could get rid of some of the idiots?
Yeah, shit, I'm one of them.
Are you?
Saying that though, if I was in the van, the aircon would have been on, so I doubt it would have happened.
No.
But whoops-a-daisy.
Yeah, it's a whoops, isn't it?
It is a whoop.
That is a whoopsie.
And you know what? I'll suck it up. It's my own fault.
Yeah, I mean,
Whatever.
what are you going to do?
Well, pay the excess and get a new windscreen, I suppose.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Should this be an opportune moment for me to nag you once again about giving up smoking?
I didn't actually ever want to admit that on the pod, so that's going to be an edit.
Okay. Right.
So yeah.
Why?
So the reason why I have a lighter on the dashboard of the pod is to set fire to smoke bombs for testing flues.
Okay.
Do you want to start this again? So,
No. I'm intrigued why you don't want people on the pod to know that
because
you smoke.
occasionally I have a cigarette.
Okay, but what? It's not nothing to be ashamed of, really.
No.
I mean, it's a bit daft, but
I know it's daft, but
Why wouldn't you want
occasionally
it
I
on
have
the-
a cigarette? Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
it's fine.
yeah.
I don't think
I
any.
don't smoke. I just occasionally have a fag.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well.
because they're lovely. They're the most beautiful thing in the world.
Yeah.
I would never smoke full time again because, let's be honest, the health benefits, not obviously cancer and heart disease and blah blah blah,
Those things.
whatever. But yeah, when I did give up smoking 6 months after you, right? About that.
I mean, I have actually given up smoking.
Yes, I know that you don't touch them at all.
You haven't.
I occasionally have one. Oh hey,
So you kind of gave up.
I kind of gave up smoking.
You reduced your smoking
Yeah.
6 months after I completely.
Oh, you know
gave
what
up.
though? When I gave up, I did actually give up. It was like 6 months to a year later until I had one again.
Fell off the wagon.
Yeah, kinda, but it's
Well-
more of it's now more of a treat for me.
Okay. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
It's alright to have a treat.
I mean, it is. I'm not going to do that,
Oh, you are.
rabid
Listen,
ex-smoker thing, but I don't get it. You're supposed to eat healthy, but you have a takeaway once again because it's a treat and all that sort of thing, or a cake or whatever.
yeah, but we all have our vices, right?
Well, yeah, but it's not really a vice, is it?
I eat fairly healthy most of the time.
I'm not talking about eating. I'm talking about smoking. trying to get to the bottom of why you continue to do something that kills you but doesn't give you any discernible benefit.
Gives me a little endorphin hit.
See, that's the bit I don't get.
No?
Because obviously I used to smoke, and I used to smoke quite a lot, and then I gave up, and I'm lucky to have that never craved
Yeah.
it again.
Yeah, fair play.
I would say I know more people that have given up smoking and have your experience rather than mine, so I'm very fortunate.
I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, maximum I would have a week would be 5 now.
I've seen
Maximum.
you do that in one night, mate.
I don't think so. I don't think so, you have. When?
I'm trying to remember. It was about a month or so ago, and we were out for the evening, and we may have imbibed a couple of beverages.
Oh, okay.
And I think Reed was giving you cigarettes.
Well, that's different. He gave them to me, so I can't say no. So
Oh, so we don't count the ones that other people give to
no,
you?
of course.
No.
No, don't be funny. I wouldn't have had more than 5 though in one fucking night. I doubt it.
No? Okay.
I doubt it, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I must have omitted the memory from my
Oh,
brain all those times where you said, no, I don't want another one, thank you.
No. Okay, sure. Whatever.
Whatever. You do you, mate. It's fine. You've got loads of years anyway.
No, fuck it.
Hey.
Why not? I'm fairly fit and healthy.
Can I tell you a story about today?
Yeah, go on.
It was a bit upsetting.
Oh, okay.
Slightly interesting in a way, but a bit interesting. So, I go in people's houses all the time, and...
Invited, I take it.
No, I'm a burglar.
Brand news.
Now, obviously, you go in people's houses, but I imagine you're predominantly, usually, in one location, the boiler or the...
Yeah, sure, yeah.
But I'm a surveyor, so I have to go around every single room, and houses tell a story.
Yeah, you can tell so much about a person.
And the story in this house was really quite sad. So my customer is the purchaser of the property, and the seller still lives there. I would say he's probably early 60s, something like that.
Cool.
And he is not a well gentleman.
What, when you say not well, do you know what condition he's suffering with?
He's an alcoholic.
Oh, okay, shit.
And he was, reaching and being sick, and
Oh, God.
looks an absolute fucking mess.
So not long left.
Don't know. So basically, the story that the house told, he was what looked like to be a pretty well accomplished competitive martial artist
Oh, okay.
with his wife. Lots of certificates and photographs of them at competitions and
Cool.
stuff.
Like newspaper clippings and stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
And with a family and lots of holidays of family and all that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
And then there was a what do you call it? Like a booklet, the order of service
Oh, like a okay.
from the wife's funeral,
Oh shit.
who passed away 8 years ago because the date was on it. And he looks fucked. He looks lost. He's
Yeah.
40,
Hasn't been able to recover from it.
there was a 40th wedding anniversary card. They've obviously been married for 40 years.
Long time.
Lost her, lost the will.
Yeah.
And it was really sad. And he wasn't my customer. I've never spoken to him. We exchanged some pleasantries when I got
You
there.
interacted with him.
A little bit, not a lot, because I was mainly dealing with my client. But I just wanted to go up to him and say, man, I get it. I get it, I feel ya. And is there anyone can help, man? Come on, do you?
Not the end. Yeah.
But it happens, doesn't it? When you've been with someone that long and...
So did you say anything?
No, it wasn't my place, mate. Wasn't my place. And you could sense that he was uncomfortable with people being in his house. The house stunk of piss, and
Yeah.
so he's not looking after himself.
Fucking hell.
It was really upsetting, mate. It
Yeah.
was really upsetting. He was a lovely man, really kind, really polite, but you just got that story that, once the
Yeah,
wife
you've gone
went,
wrong.
he lost that will, I guess, lost that
I
reason.
think if he's in his 60s, they would have been married since they were in their 20s.
Yeah. Well, as I say, there was a 40-year anniversary, but she died
Yeah.
like 7 odd years ago. So
Yeah. Fucking hell.
yeah.
It shows how much you can become.
So he must have been more than early 60s thinking about it. Yeah. So bit sad, but life is life.
Yeah.
Comes in all shapes and colours, and
It is that sort of thing, though. Like, it just shows how much people can rely on other people.
yeah.
That scares me.
Yeah, another reason for being single, mate. It's the way forward.
Yeah, kinda. It's lovely to be able to have that emotional connection with someone. Obviously, that there is probably. I'm trying to be careful with words here, but I'll say what I think I should say. Wouldn't you say that person was almost codependent on that person? If they're now treating themselves like that?
No, I don't say necessarily codependent. Who knows? They both could have enjoyed a really good drink together.
Yeah.
My sense was just kind of lost the will to live, really.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's just an impression. You don't know all of the detail. There were certainly photographs of children and grandchildren, so hopefully they're
being supportive
around
and
and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it was. There you go.
Oh, that's a doom and gloomy one to start off with, isn't it?
Well, not really. It's just life, isn't it?
It is just life, mate.
Life.
There's loads of it around.
Life is not all flowers and rainbows,
No.
unfortunately.
No.
And the
It's funny, actually. That
more
you
we
mentioned that
accept that and stop pretending that it's fucking
one. Yeah.
real life is Instagram reels. Are they called reels?
Reels.
Yeah, I got it right.
Well done, you. Do you remember, it was quite a few months ago now, I went to a funeral for one of my clients.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. I was working for his son-in-law today.
Oh yeah.
And then the chap's daughter, who passed away, also turned up as well. And we were having a nice chat, we sat down and had some lunch together. And she mentioned to me that her mother, who's in her 70s,
Okay.
was having a bit of a struggle. Now, obviously, I think some of that is obviously related to the passing of her husband. But
Yeah.
the daughter also mentioned to me that she didn't have a nice childhood.
Okay.
And
Oh, what with these people?
Yeah. So this lady who's in her 70s did not have a nice childhood. And she's still upset about it, broken about it, and is not okay with it.
About the childhood as opposed to the loss.
Yeah.
Okay.
She still sort of has that doubt about herself, because of what happened as a child.
Okay.
And I was very honest today with those clients. I mean, they've been clients as well as friends for years, hence I went to their, father's funeral, etc. And they asked what had been happening with my life the last few years as stuff happened. So I mentioned obviously about that breakup that happened 2 years ago and how that has dragged on through solicitors and, in regards to finances and that person trying to, what's the word? Squander my name? I don't know.
Squander?
Squander?
Slander.
Slander, thank you. So yeah, we talked about that. We spoke about my parents and the most recent activity that we found out about them financially
Don't do it.
doing some nasty things. So then this person said, is it something that you ever get over? And I went, well, how can you? I was like, it's something that you learn how to deal with. And it's something that you learn to accept that happened to you. But in the nicest way, you have to almost mourn that loss. You have to mourn that the childhood that would have been nice, you don't have. But it's the only one that you know.
I mean, yes, I'm aware of that as a sort of philosophy.
Yeah.
It's not something that I particularly...
It's a very hard thing to deal with.
It's... my childhood was far from perfect, but
Far from ideal, yeah.
far from ideal. But I've also been an adult for quite a while.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I don't feel a need to, whatever it is, the expression you used about, telling that child that he's all right and stuff.
Yeah.
It's
You think that... Yeah, I mean, I think that I've had enough time and enough help now to...
not as much as me, baby.
No, but enough...
I'm 25 again.
There's enough time to reflect upon it and go, okay, those things did happen. Okay.
Can I just interrupt very
Yeah.
quickly? I'm finding it very irritating
Go on.
that this group of lovely, young, gorgeous-looking people with 1% body fat are sitting there drinking beer and eating chips. It's what? Bastards.
They obviously do more tennis than you, so...
And they are considerably younger than us.
Yeah, sods.
Yeah. Fuck.
Damn them.
Well, it'll catch up with them. Should we go and tell them?
We don't wish it upon them, though.
Yeah. That chip you eat today, that'll be on your arse in 20 years. So, we should now probably move on to the topic of the week that we've spent such a long time
Hours, mate.
researching, discussing in the production meeting
Done loads on it, mate.
that we do all of the preparation on it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What was it?
What I've decided to do this week.
Yeah, without telling me again.
I did mention it to you in a WhatsApp.
Not a control freak at all.
No.
No, you didn't mention to me in a... Oh, what, global warming?
No, not that one. Because, yeah, you and I are going to be really able to solve that. Yeah.
I know shit. Loads.
Do you?
About global warming, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, coal, gas, whole
Ozone layer?
sea temperature,
Yeah.
rising
Icebergs.
rising sea,
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah. Drowning, death.
War,
Droughts.
war,
A war.
War.
Yeah.
for what resources are left.
So,
Become mates with Elon Musk, move to Mars.
in conclusion, what's the best way to solve it?
Perfect solution is stop being...
Great advice. Hence, we're not going to do global warming as a topic.
To be fair, that advice works for pretty much everything.
It is actually a thing. Oh,
Oh!
it's a bingo.
There's a bingo.
Yeah, that's good advice for just life. Don't be a twat. Yeah, that is good. Okay, so you know what? We've had a bit of a segue into this, talking about mental health conditions. There, obviously, we've just spoken about your client who's an alcoholic.
Did we have an opportune... Nope, sorry, lost it.
Oh,
An opportune segue?
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Take it. So we spoke about your client about the alcoholic. We spoke about my client who's obviously at 70 years old and still dealing with some mental health things about her childhood. I wanted to talk about this week is what we learnt in school
Right.
and what else could it be if we could go back to school now. Like, what else could be improved? Like, if you could go and like redo it again, what would be improved. Now, the reason why I sort of wanted to ask this is not necessarily. It is some of the subject matter that you learn at school. I would have loved to have been at school and someone taught me how to fill out a tax return, because that would have been a handy thing to learn. But also, I think a lot of stuff in my childhood could have been avoided if there was actually some lessons on like mental health teaching and what is okay and what isn't okay.
I assume that there is some now.
I would hope so. I'm not too sure.
I think there is. I don't know about personal finances and stuff, but I think in terms of pastoral care and those sort of things, I assume that there is more. I mean, well, yeah, I mean, you've got to assume that, you see, for example, in my day, there was no such thing as mental health or mental well-being.
Yeah.
You were just mental, regardless of what the occurrence or condition was.
Yeah.
And there was no discussion about people's mental health or mental performance, for want of a better expression, anywhere, regardless, children, adults, workplace, home.
Definitely.
Just nothing. And now, obviously, it's much more of a
Spoken about.
yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Thing. Which is obviously marvellous. So surely the kids are dealing with something now.
I hope so. I think it's definitely more spoken about. And I don't be funny with younger generations that we know. People in their 20s and stuff. They're definitely more able to talk about this type of stuff. Danny, for instance. Danny's able to talk about this stuff quite openly.
Mate, I'm a little bit older than you.
Tad.
Bit.
Yeah.
When I was at school, schools were full of bullies and pedos. So no one was thinking about your mental health.
No.
They were thinking about your arse.
Yeah.
Not
Not
everyone, but there was fucking loads of them, and everyone of my era will all know a teacher or more than one teacher. I was thinking about this the other day. Do you know, there was no, like, what do you call it now? It's not DBS, is it? Or is it now changed to DBS?
DBS check, yeah.
Yeah. Didn't they just change the name of it?
Oh, potentially.
Whatever. But like that thing that you have if you're going to work with children or vulnerable people.
Correct, yeah.
Didn't exist.
Yeah.
Didn't exist. You could rock up to a school and say, I'm a teacher, and they go, crack on, mate.
Crack on, mate, come in. Yeah.
Geography at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's fucked up, isn't it?
Well, it was.
Like that.
It was fucked up. Yeah, it was really bad. My school had been around for quite a long time, and it was originally a grammar school. So
you went to an all-boys school, right?
It was all boys, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was originally a grammar school, and they had lots of throwbacks from that, lots of legacies. Really strict.
Yeah.
Like learning by rote. Some of the mad shit, You can only walk down the corridor on the left. You can only have black socks, not grey socks.
Yeah, God.
All of that.
So I went to...
we used to have one twat, I can't remember his name. He still wore the cloak. And he was a tiny little man, and he obviously was, hadn't enjoyed a fantastic life by the looks of things. And he used to stand on the stage in assembly in the morning, and he'd go, "Sit down, school."
Oh, God.
And we'd all sit down and go, "Wait now."
So, in my early years, up until the age of, I think I was 11, I went to private school.
Oh, la-di-da.
And I wouldn't now choose that again.
No, right.
And it's what you talk about there. It's that old strict system there. And it's one thing that you just mentioned there about you have to walk on the left and all this lot. Yeah, I remember that shit. And it was just like, why? The best thing that... It's going to sound harsh.
It's all about order, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
And abeyance.
Yeah. The best thing that actually happened was, I try and sound it less tragic than what it was. My parents looked at my school report cards and all this lot and went, why are we spending this money?
Yeah, we're not getting a lot for it.
We're not getting a lot for this. So they decided to pool the funds, and I just went to a normal school.
that probably says quite a lot about your parents, to be fair. I mean, first off,
I mean, they're not the best people in the world. Let's just be honest.
your education was obviously affected by your dyslexia,
Yeah.
and now there are assessments, and
Oh, don't get me wrong. There was support there.
so it was picked up and identified. Oh,
Yeah. It was. And to be funny, my mum and dad were active with it. They were trying to get me the help that.
Well, you see, ordinarily, what you find, I think, is the case that people are in mainstream school that isn't able to support some condition like dyslexia, and that's where the parents go and break their necks to try and find the money to put them into private education, rather than the other way around.
Yeah.
Just very quickly on private education.
Yeah.
There's a tweet that's been flying around a little bit, and I really wanted to read it.
Go on.
So this is a letter that was written to the Times. Sir, whatever wider strategy Eton adopts, the school itself will continue to educate the global elite of those who will become the global elite. Or those that will become the global elite. If we'd stayed the same since 1440, Eton would have closed years ago. Perhaps its most important mission will be to ensure that its pupils are saved from the sense of privilege, entitlement and omniscience that can produce alumni such as Boris Johnson, Jacob Rees-Mogg, Kwasi Kwarteng and Ben Elliott, and thereby damage a country's very fabric. Sadly, I failed in that purpose. John Clawton, Master, Eton College, 1984 to 2001.
Whoa.
Isn't it? So he realises that they were my, pupils.
Yeah.
And
look at the toxic fucking people they've
look what we produced.
You know what, words fail me on that, because, yeah.
I mean, you look at what those fucking idiots are doing with Boris Johnson, the coward, lying coward that he is, resigning before he can be held to account. The rest of his words are failing me at the moment, but the people that are still trying to defend him in the media and say, oh, we got Brexit done. Yeah, that's going fucking brilliant, mate, isn't it?
It's looking
he delivered the COVID vaccine. No, he didn't, mate.
No, he didn't.
Scientists and NHS did that.
Yeah.
He didn't do fuck
He did.
all.
He did a shit job.
He did fuck all, apart from break everything.
Yeah.
In his own ambition for power. Someone put it really well the other day.
Sure.
Sorry, I'm going to rant.
Go on.
But someone put it really...
Where's that pillow?
Yeah. Someone got it really well the other day in that so you've heard the line about he was like fucking, I don't know, 7 years old or something, and he said his ambition was to be world king. So he wants power, right?
Yeah.
And someone put it really well. Boris Johnson doesn't necessarily... His drive and ambition wasn't to be Prime Minister, it was to have been Prime Minister. He wants the label, he wants the prestige.
He almost feels like it's the right to have that.
He has nothing in his character to actually do the work.
Yeah.
He just wants the fucking name badge. And look where and he told his lies and wrote it on the side of a bus, and loads of people believed him, rightly, you know. Someone's telling you something and you believe it. That's not your fault. And look where we are.
Yeah. I'll be very cautious with my words here, because I don't want to... I haven't asked this person permission to say this, but I'm very close with someone who spent a lot of time at boarding school and within that organisation. And the stories that he has told me about being around that environment is horrifying.
Yeah,
it's horrifying. For a child to be put into a boarding school at 7-8 years old and literally,
regardless of what the institution is like,
Sure.
the concept of sending a child of that age,
it's obscure. I can't fathom that attitude.
I mean, that age you're still curling up on mummy and daddy's lap watching TV, aren't
Of course you are.
What the
yeah.
mental.
Absolutely. And I don't fathom why parents do that. I think there might be that old school attitude of, it's, this school, it's a bit like the Eton thing here, really. Oh, they have X amount of prime ministers that have been, and that sort of thing. But
I think there's an element of
Why on
tradition as
earth
well.
would-
It's what our parents did. It's what their parents did. It's what
Yeah.
we're just carrying on
But the
the old
facts
school
and the
time.
numbers are there to show that stuff does more harm than good. I mean, Ed Izzard, they wrote a fantastic book, which I really suggest, especially on Audible, because they read them. They read it themselves, and he puts in lots of his own footnotes, and it's funny to listen to. But he does say on there, sorry, I've got to stop saying he. They say on there that a boarding school tuition is now deemed as a mental health thing.
Yeah,
It's
right.
now been proven that kids that go to boarding school have problems.
Yeah, well, James O'Brien spoken about it in his book, didn't he?
Yeah.
About how
How to be wrong. It's in that one. Yeah. Yeah.
how I think it's how not to be wrong, isn't it? How to be right in a world gone wrong, and how not to be wrong. I think
Yeah. You know what?
doesn't matter.
We'll keep on track. I'll check it.
Okay, but I can't remember what the event was that made him go to therapy, and in his therapy
I do, because it was a...
journey.
Do you remember that day that I called you and I...
No.
Proper...
No, what the event was in his adult life.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I think it was something to do with his family or whatever. But he realised in that therapy that he was pretty much permanently walking around with his metaphorical fists up, waiting for a fight.
Yeah.
Because it's the tension and the, you know, the mentality given by his boarding school was such that you are always in danger.
Correct.
You're always going to be under threat.
So I'll just read out those titles real quick. So the Eddie Izzard book is called Believe Me, and the James O'Brien book is How Not to Be Wrong. But yeah, like, I mean, I've listened to both of those. The Eddie Izzard one is fascinating because
Susan.
Susan, well, as Eddie has said, or Susan has said,
Don't give a fuck.
they don't mind what
Don't give
they're
a fuck.
called, so they are they, and that's it. So fine. But that's a really good listen, because actually his dad did what he thought was best for him, but sadly Eddie's mum died at a very young age, and Eddie was a very young lad at the same time, and his dad couldn't deal with it, so they sent him to boarding school, as well as his brother as well, you know, and
You know,
almost sort of cast off thing. It's that abandonment. And when I talk to this other person that I know really well, that's exactly what they feel. They feel just abandoned.
but what age is Eddie?
Now,
I think he's in his 60s, isn't he?
I would assume that, yeah.
So that would have been a natural response for that type of person in that era. Just send them to boarding school.
Yeah,
You know, they'll do the raising.
yeah. Luckily,
And somehow,
Eddie does say in the book that he did have a positive experience there.
Yeah,
so it
right.
wasn't abusive. or
So
anything
somehow-
like that.
some of them managed to come through it without being complete.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of them don't, though.
A lot of them don't, and
lot of
you
them
know,
don't.
and this person that I speak about that I'm really close with, didn't for a long time. You know, he suffered for an extremely long time until he went and got help
Yeah.
and
The-
dealt with that stuff.
The striking thing about that, I was going to say type of person, not really, class of person, not really, but people that have been through that circumstance from that era or those eras, the difficulty is a lot of them don't acknowledge that there's a problem, because everyone that they know went through the same situation, and everyone that they know is fucking as toxic as the rest of them.
Yeah,
You know,
they actually.
entitled and
I can't say too much here, but they went to school with quite a famous person's son, and that son was reported in the news to have taken a cocaine overdose and died.
Right.
This person I know actually went to the funeral of that person, and it wasn't that at all. It was a suicide.
Right.
That person had committed suicide, and the person that I know said it's because of what happened at that school.
Yeah, right. Sad, isn't it?
Yeah, because it was just that environment,
Well, I mean, as we've discussed too many times, the prevalence of male suicide in this country is ridiculously high anyway,
God, I actually did a bit of research
amongst
on
all
this today.
types of people.
So Laura, who has a podcast, she was doing some research today, just before I left the house to come and record this. And she was just doing some research on what the high suicide rates are in jobs. So particular jobs in the UK, so we're just talking about the UK here.
Is it still vets?
Well, this is an order, and this is off the official website today. Jobs with high suicide rates from 1 to 10. So medical doctors are number 1. 2 are dentists. 3 are police officers. 4 are vets.
Do you know what 1, 2 and 4 have all got in common?
Yeah, a lot of people die on them.
Access to drugs.
And access to drugs, which...
Numbing drugs.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I've spoken about a sibling of mine who tried to end it, and she's one of those top 4, and yep, she tried to use a numbing drug to do that. So yeah. Financial services is number 5.
Pressure of work
I
in
would
those
say
brokers and all that sort of
high
shit.
stress levels.
Yeah.
Just need to look back at the 1960s when we had the financial crisis, right? When people were jumping off the Empire State Building and all that lot.
That was the 1930s.
1930s.
But if you think about the... what's the famous film about stock trading?
Oh, I don't know.
Leonardo DiCaprio?
Oh, Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Fucking fantastic.
So that 80s
Definitely
type
watch
thing,
Yeah.
really, really pressurised environment, but it's one of those 90% are working their bollocks off and will make average salary, and then the 10% make
Absolute killers.
nonsense
Yeah.
money.
Number 6 on the list is estate agents. Nothing to say about that one.
No. I'm sorry, any estate agents listening, but
Oh, don't. I'm actually quite close with
I
them.
mean, God, I don't want them. I don't want them to
No,
come to
yeah,
any harm.
please don't do that.
But they're not my favourite people.
Now, this one worried me today. It's only
Plumbers?
because... No. But it is a trade. And I don't know why this is. Electricians are number 7 on the list.
That's strange.
Electricians. I think that might be due to the rules and regulations behind it all.
No.
But I don't know. Oh, they're very closely looked at. Electricians are.
No. I can't jump to a conclusion for that.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Lawyers on...
Certainly not a way you'd choose to go, would it?
No. Lawyers are number 8.
Okay.
Sure.
I mean, kind of like lawyers and police. You can imagine they're seeing a lot of distress.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
No.
Do you think it's more of a criminal lawyer, let alone a litigation lawyer or
Yeah.
contract lawyer?
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you want to guess the last 2?
Not really. It's not really a guessing game, people
No.
dying, is it?
No, not really. It won't surprise you, number 9, farmers.
Yeah.
Which is really sad.
It is really.
Really sad, because, at the end of the day, you need a doctor, maybe you hope only once or twice a year. You need a farmer 3 times a day.
You're going to credit that line?
I am. That is Caleb Cooper, sorry, from Clarkson's Farm.
I know it is very high pressured.
Really high.
Very hard working, very high pressured.
Yeah. And number 10 on the list is a pharmacist.
Which,
Which again, yeah,
Jobs again.
it's the access thing. God, that really does say a lot there. Really, is that access to numbing.
Yep.
I suppose people that don't have that job role do that with other numbing things. So you spoke at the start of this about that person that you met today, the alcoholic. That's a numbing drug. It's one of the strongest drugs out there.
Yeah, but I don't think someone that dies of alcoholism would be listed as taking their own life.
You know what? I think it should be myself.
I mean,
because
probably, but it's
because
Yeah.
I do think that
taking 10 years to kill yourself,
yeah.
and it wouldn't be listed on the stick.
Well, in
would
the
it?
nicest way, I don't really want to use the word that I'm thinking of, so I'm going to have to try and think of a better one. Alcohol is the one that, when I was depressed, it's the one that I used because it made me feel numb for a certain amount of time. I was never brave at. No, see, this is the word I didn't want to use. I was never completely in that mindset where I was ready to do it. I wanted to do it, but I was never in that mindset.
No, it's
wanted to do it.
in the
So alcohol for me was the numbing. part.
yeah, in mental health language, you had ideation,
Yeah.
but not to the point of I am doing it.
Yeah.
It would be interesting interesting in an incredibly sad and dark way, but it'd be interesting to know what is the number one method,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because obviously there's some very obvious ones which I'm somewhat apprehensive to say, but
I'm going to Google it.
you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you googled it, and
And now I'm going to have a boohoo.
yeah, and I'm not sure we really want to carry on down that line, really.
No.
It's probably obvious.
God.
It's,
Sorry.
I mean, to be honest, you're massive wuss. It's
That's really sad.
the way that people do it isn't really the sad bit for me. It's the
That's why.
yeah, you know.
I said I said I wanted someone to cry on the pod. I didn't realise it was going to be me.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, you know,
Oh dear.
it was only a matter of time, mate.
Oh God, that's awful. Yeah. God, people get help, please.
Well, sadly, mate.
There's so much help out there now.
Well, no, not nearly enough, mate. Otherwise, we would be getting those numbers down way much quicker.
Yeah.
Well done, David Cameron and George Osborne, you fucking arseholes.
Oh no, let's use the word for them.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't mind you using the bleep machine for them because
Yeah.
they are utter ones.
Yeah, I know, but too many bleeps gives me more work to do.
Yeah, you know what? For them,
They've taken enough from me, I don't...
yeah, they've taken enough time out of your life.
Yeah. And, you know, you always get that age-old question, trying to lighten it even just a little bit. You get that age-old question, is it... are people more sensitive now, so they have more problems, or is life much more difficult now, so there's more
Potentially
problems?
that one.
You know, in our grandparents or their parents' era, as I said earlier, no one ever spoke about mental health, and what were the numbers then? I don't know.
I think where people need to approach this stuff. So obviously, you and I talk to a lot of people, and you and I talk to a lot of people about this sort of stuff as well, because obviously it's a thing that we talk about.
Yep.
I think it's very, and it is interesting how different people have a different approach on it. Some people are more emotional than others, and that's okay. Like, they don't need, you know, someone who's not that emotional doesn't need to apologise for not being emotional.
No. Yes. No.
In the same way that someone who is emotional and does care about other people and other people's emotions, as well as listening to their own emotions, again, they don't need to apologise for that either. But what all people, I think, should be doing is recognising their emotions. You sort of get what I mean by that?
You've kind of contradicted yourself a little bit. So people that don't really have large emotions aren't going to recognise their emotions because they're not there to recognise. I think we are becoming a more tolerant, intuitive society, and therefore
Intuitively mean like we're going to ask more questions?
we think about shit more.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think if you take a stereotypical person that you might label as not particularly emotional and put them in the 1970s,
Yeah.
and then you pick that same person up and put them in the 2020s,
They would have been okay,
today's society
potentially.
will present them with more media, more information that says people are more emotional.
Yeah.
So
Sort of brings me onto a subject actually that we heard today. I think you might have heard it today on the news as well. the lady who took abortion bills
Yes.
very late on. I found that. So I was listening to a phone in. It wasn't the usual one that you and I listened to. It was actually on a radio station. Can I say it? I don't know.
Why not? Why can't you?
BBC Radio
Yeah,
2.
of course you can.
So I was listening to it on there with Jeremy Vine. And some of the callers were remarkable in the sense of they couldn't put themselves in her place. I'm not excusing the way that she behaved, but at the same time, she must have been in a very horrid, dark place for her to have done that. And what she's been punished with is being put into a place where we know suicide rates are high. We know that the mental health support is not there. Why the fuck are we putting a person like that into a place like that where they're not supported?
I don't know about that analysis. I think access to mental health support is probably easier to access in prison than it is in the outside
I
world.
doubt it is, mate.
No, it
I mean,
definitely
look at the suicide rates in prison.
No, it
Sorry.
just definitely is. The suicide rate in prison is less than the suicide rate in the outside world. Because you can't access mental health support in the outside world, but you can in prison.
No, that's very true too right now. But
The
it's
reason
still, there is still high suicide rates in jails.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but that's not because of a lack of mental health support. It's because they're fucking absolutely destroyed before they get there.
Yeah.
With regards to that case of the woman that's been jailed for
Aborting her child too late.
outside of the prescribed, which I mean the whole thing's fucking horrible anyway, but
Awful.
the point, the reason we send people to jail is to rehabilitate them. Rehabilitation suggests that we're trying to attempt to make people not to commit those crimes again. She's not going to commit that crime again. What's the
Never.
fucking point of putting her in jail?
I know.
But, you know, unfortunately we live in this post-truth, populist, polarised world where I point over there and tell you to hate them, and lots of people are going to hate, and there's a lack of thought and compassion about it. So it's, you know, lock them up, lock them up, lock them up.
It's so disturbing. Like when we've got Donald Trump on trial today. That started today. Obviously, we've got Johnson and his fucking report thing that he's cowardly stepped away from.
Oh, he's done another one apparently. They were going to release the Privileges Committee report. They were suggesting they were going to release it tomorrow. Apparently, he delivered another letter to them at 11:57 p.m. last night.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Yeah, because he's a Weasley coward. But everyone loves him. Going, oh, because he's so much fun. He's so entertaining.
No, he's not. He's damaged you to fuck.
He's a prick.
Wake the fuck up. Yeah. Anyway, this is not such a cheery one today, is it?
No, why did you do that?
I don't know.
It's probably me, to be honest. It's because my foot hurts.
I've got a slight twinge in my knee. Does that
Oh,
count?
it's all about you.
Oh, I thought it might be.
Bloody hell. Don't kick my foot, please.
Was that the hurty one?
Yeah, it was the hurty
Oh,
one.
I'm sorry.
Ow. I might edit an ow in there.
About an ow.
Yeah. Come on, let's try and give it a little bit of.
Let's do that. I've run out of beer. Well, you're almost out of beer, so let us get us another 2 beers, and then we'll come back with some funny shit.
Let's do that.
Cool.
Okay, right. So
Is that enough of Rantcast
I think so. We've got
and
a couple.
upsetting bollocks?
We've got a couple more beers.
Yeah.
So just before we close out this podcast,
Well, thank you to the staff here today.
let's try and talk about something that isn't misery and death.
Yeah, pretty much. How was your week last week? Was it alright?
Yeah.
Marks out of 10?
Probably a solid 8.
Solid 8, that's good.
No, there was no negativity of note that I can remember.
Like that.
I mean, my memory is pretty poor, but I can't remember anything.
I mean, for 25, mate, I think it's pretty good still. So,
Thank you. Sorry.
bow.
There was usual stuff,
Yeah.
clients and employees and stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff.
I'm gonna give a special thank you to you actually last week. You know, we had band last Monday together,
We did.
and on the way home we were talking about songs to add to lists and what we need to rehearse next. And you asked me to learn what's the song called? I should know this. I've been playing the thing non.
Down in the tube station.
Down in the Tube Station by the
Jam.
Jam, right? So, I'd maybe heard the song before. It rung bells, but I didn't really know it that well.
Okay.
Then I looked at the tab, and I was like, yeah, I think I could probably learn that. Anyway, been working on it now for, what day are we? Been working on it for 9 days.
Okay.
Nailed it today.
Marvellous.
Got it down.
Marvellous.
Got it down. So thank you very much for that challenge.
You're very welcome.
Because actually, you know what? It's been one of the most enjoyable things to have learned on guitar up until now. Other two close to it is going to be A Town Called Malice, because that's just a fantastic song.
Mm-hmm.
And Crazy's A Little Thing Called Love by Queen.
Yeah.
But
3 very contemporary songs.
brilliant songs. Yeah. But there's a problem with this.
Ah,
There's always a negative in positive things,
well,
potentially.
are you talking about the fact that it's a
That's why I'm a knob. No,
Oh, you are a knob.
that I'm a knob.
Yeah.
So, what you didn't know is when I was learning Crazy Little Thing Called Love, I was using the live version of Queen when they recorded in Wembley in 1986
Okay.
as my... Right, if I can learn the live version,
Yep.
boom, I've got it down.
Don't tell me they play it in a different key.
No. But there's one of my favourite songs on that album
Okay.
is Tie Your Mother Down. Which is a
Yeah.
great song.
Don't really know it.
Which is fine. But anyway, I thought, well, fuck it. If I'm learning that song off that album, I'll learn Tie Your Mother Down just for me to play at home.
Okay.
You know, so something that I have for me. Go and see Gabby on Thursday evening. I meet her in London Bridge. That's where she works.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I'll come and meet you after work and we'll go get some dinner together. And then we went out for drinks. On the way back to London Bridge train station, there's like a like an outdoor band, like buskers,
Yeah.
and they're playing the fucking song. So they're playing "Tie Your
Serendipity.
Mother Down" by Queen, and Gabby goes, "Oh, that's really cool, isn't it?" I went, "Yeah, it is. That's awesome." The bassist is playing it wrong though.
Oh, you didn't.
I was just like, you know what? I just got into that mindset where I'm just like, why isn't he playing it right?
Sometimes I think there's no hope for you.
There isn't, is there? I mean, if you can give me some sort of thing there, I don't know.
What would you like me to give
I
you?
have no idea.
Praise, adulation, recognition.
Mark, you're a knob.
You're
Yeah.
a knob, mate.
I'll take that. I'll take
You're
that
a knob.
one.
No, to be
Complete
fair,
knob.
I'm guilty of the same thing because you and I saw a pub band recently, and I don't
Oh
think
God, we did.
I was massively complimentary.
No.
I wasn't, was I?
Let's be honest, they weren't exactly fantastic, were they? Bassist was fantastic.
Elements of the band were fantastic.
Yeah. The overall
Yeah.
performance.
a bit
Yeah, it was a bit.
Come on.
If you play in a band, have some fucking energy.
Have a go.
When you
Have a
play.
go.
Like, at least show that you're excited to be there.
Pretend you're excited to be there.
It'd be funny when we do eventually play live. I'm going to be very excited to be there.
I mean,
It'd be great.
presumably they were getting paid.
I would assume so.
Be excited about that at least.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? You know.
Why wouldn't you? It's awesome though to play live. It's
Yeah.
I mean, even when we do a band
Very
practice
fun.
together, it's awesome just to play in a fucking group and just,
When you see people enjoying it, jumping around, even a tap of the foot, you know, it's
that,
nice.
or they sing back to you,
Yeah.
you know, with words. Fantastic.
All of that.
Love it.
Makes you want to jump around and
Definitely.
jump around, jump, jump.
Jump up and get down.
I mean, not on this foot, obviously.
Not on that one because you're a little bit crippled.
Yeah, yeah. Do you reckon Dave Grohl will lend me his throne?
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. What? Dave Grohl suddenly gets in contact with us and is like, "Oh, guys, I love the pod. I hear that you're in a band. Let me come and play a gig with you." We do play one of your songs.
No, we don't.
Not yet, but it's on the to-do list, which is "Learn to Fly." So, Dave Grohl, if you want to get in touch, great.
Yeah, 'cause that's so happening.
You never know. Don't ask. You don't get.
Yeah, no.
Just saying. Just saying.
No.
Yep.
Fake it till you make it. Imagine it, and it will coalesce. Yeah.
I sort of like your thinking.
Yeah. I mean, we could just use a chair.
Chair,
Don't worry.
throne.
Don't worry. I'll be repaired before we.
You'll be fine. Don't worry.
Do you know what?
Because I believe in you.
Do you believe I can fly?
I believe that you can learn to fly.
By the time we manage to herd these bunch of cats,
Are we talking about the rest of our band?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, and we actually get
Joe, Mark, come on, guys.
no, don't call people out like that. It's a collective. We just need to try and organise our diaries a bit better.
Rusty as fuckians, come on, guys.
Don't like that.
They're not like that?
No. Yeah, we'll be good, mate. We'll be good, and we're going to have to do some recording at some point.
I know.
Maybe one of those will be the theme tune.
Oh, I'd like that.
Of course, you'd like that.
I would like that.
Yeah.
Especially if there's a good bass line.
Why doesn't that surprise me?
Wow.
I am definitely going to make one where there's no bass line now.
Why are you so cruel?
It's just because you're so needy.
I am fucking needy.
I feel
but you're perfectly aware of this.
But I feel like I need to try and
Numb it down a little.
shepherd you away from it somehow.
You know what, mate? It's going nowhere at all.
Well, yeah.
And most of the time I can... Oh, that doesn't sound right. I want to say most of the time I can please myself, but then that sounds...
Yeah, don't do
that makes me sound like...
Not in public.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. Haven't done that.
Okay, well, yeah, all of those things. I think I'm about done, mate.
I think I'm done.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really sorry to the pods for this one. This one's been a little bit sad, and I'm sorry about that.
But it's life.
You know what? That
It's
is
real.
life.
It's shit.
But remember, I think we should quickly add this in there.
You go into.
If you do need any instant help, please contact the Samaritan.
Yeah, reach out, man. Reach out.
Also, I also want to say on the pod, we want some subject matter from you guys. So any listener that has a particular subject that they want us to cover, or even if they think it's just a 15-minute thing, or a 10-minute thing, or literally just a question that they want an answer to. Hello, doggy. Please go to the Instagram page, follow the link in the description of the pod, and we will answer it. We're now recording this weekly, so what you're hearing is we've only done this a day or two before. So let us know, and we will put it in next week's.
Yeah. If you have any other advice, comments, assistance,
We want to hear that too.
bring it on.
Feedback is always good.
This is always, apart from the really noisy stuff from...
Not the
yeah,
noise. No.
not that.
We don't want that.
Yeah.
This dog is
Or
really
dogs.
cute.
Or dogs.
Dogs are fine. I don't mind
I
dogs.
mean, they're
Yeah.
great to look at, but shouting on my podcast is not making you particularly popular to me right now.
It is a spaniel. They're always
They're fucking mental.
going to be loud.
They're mental.
Right.
I fucking love everything.
Who doesn't?
Spaniels. No, not
No,
spaniels.
not spaniels. Spaniels do love everything. Humans, rubbish.
Some humans.
Some humans, not all.
Tory ones.
Yeah.
Oh, not all Tories.
Tories either.
No.
We don't do hate.
We don't do hate. Maybe some of them should seek assistance.
They definitely fucking should, because they're a bunch of. Phil.
Mark. Love.